Welcome to Beyond Ready, guiding youth to grow, thrive, and find their spark in a world of change. The podcast where we explore the stories, insights, and experiences of youth development through the lens of 4-H here in Douglas County, Kansas.
4-H, the nation's largest youth organization, empowers 6 million young people through numerous hands-on learning experiences to build a ready generation.
Sharing stories from local clubs, project groups, and volunteers, we'll explore how 4-H is creating change, building stronger communities, and equipping today's youth to meet tomorrow's challenges.
So join us, whether you're a proud 4-H alum, an active club member or volunteer, or simply looking to learn more about the world of 4-H. Let's get started. Welcome to this month's 4-H podcast. We're going to look at critical thinking skills we gain through the 4-H contests such as judging, skill-a-thon, and quiz bowls. I'm Nancy Noyes, 4-H program assistant in Douglas County. And today, I have a very special guest and 4-H alumnus, Claire Ward. Hi, Claire. We're happy to have you.
Good morning.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a longtime 4-Her. I live in Tacoma, Washington now, but I was a 4-Her in Brown County, Kansas, and then I was involved in some activities in Douglas County when my younger siblings were in 4-H here as well.
Well, that's right. You were also, I think, a narrator for maybe our achievement or the fashion review.
Yes, I was.
Been really good at speaking. And by the way, Claire is my daughter. She's the elder sibling of Stuart and Electa Ward. So what we're going to talk about a little bit today is your involvement with the judging team experience and skill-a-thons. When did you begin 4-H?
I started 4-H as a Clover kid in the state of Maine, and then we moved to Kansas. I was a 4-Her there for about probably 13 years, and then finished out my career there before my family moved up to Douglas County.
Great. What are some of your favorite projects?
I did nearly every project when I was a 4-Her, but my favorites were definitely the sheep project. I loved showing sheep at the fair, and any of the family and consumer science projects, such as sewing, arts and crafts, foods, and nutrition were some of my favorites.
What about poultry?
I did love poultry. I was the reigning poultry showmanship champion in our county for quite a few years. So, yes, one of my favorite projects.
You were always very good at chicken wrangling. So your first judging experience was what, would you say?
I remember starting judging at a fairly young age. My older brother was very involved in horse judging, and I remember probably going to one of my first judging competitions when I was 6 or 7. So for a really long portion of my 4-H career, I was involved with judging competitions.
Yeah, so horse judging, and I think we had a horse quiz bowl component, and hippology, which is very much like the livestock skill-a-thon in terms of learning a comprehensive set of skills that really deepens your knowledge within a project area. And many project areas have a competitive contest, be it a skill-a-thon or a judging contest, and these are integral to that work. And they, like we said before, are in horse, but also horticulture, photography, poultry, meat science, family consumer science, and livestock. And judging is a team experience where the participants study what I guess you could call an industry criteria or standard of perfection. And then in the contest, you have classes of 4, which you rank against the ideal. Could you talk more about that experience as far as how a judging contest would be run?
Typically, the contests are run in classes of 4. If it's a livestock or horse judging, you would approach the class, judge them based on the criteria, like Nancy mentioned, and then rank them 1 through 4, 1 being the top, 4 being the bottom. And then for some of the other judging competitions, it's a little bit different, a little more comprehensive in terms of like family and consumer science judging. You might be looking at the nutritional facts behind loaves of bread. You might be comparing dry cleaners. Is it worth it to buy this item versus that item in terms of long time care, and just kind of using your critical thinking skills based on a set of rules or standard industries to rank specific items.
So that really gives you that critical thinking, being able to discern what would be best for that appropriate situation, correct?
Yes.
And if you also are either recording these or doing an oral set of reasons, I know you do that in livestock. What does that do for the 4-H member?
So oral reasons are a great way to learn how to defend your choices when it comes to making decisions. I definitely use those skills a lot as an adult in my career. Just being able to walk up to somebody and explain to them, I ranked it it in this way, and this is why. It helps you build those skills to remember why you are making those choices. You're talking through your logic. And it's just helpful to, honestly, to talk to strangers as well. You're talking to somebody you've never met before,
Sure.
explaining to them why you chose to do things in a specific way. And that's a really useful skill.
Yeah, and in those, more so in the livestock and horse, but you give grants and concessions. So you build that why you did it, and that's very important. And I believe, isn't this correct, in oral reasons, you actually get points for if you defend well, if you switch a pair, but if you can give really strong reasons.
Yes, typically they will rank you on your reason score versus your judging score. So even if, you place the class differently than the person ranking the class overall, if you give good reasons, you can, kind of make your score come back by giving a really good reason for why you maybe switched the middle pair or the bottom pair.
Okay. And I guess we should say here that when a class, say, of quarter horse mares or limousine heifers is the ideal placing, is done by usually a group, maybe a collegiate judging team or some professionals come together.
Yes, that's correct. At the county level, where you may begin your judging career, a lot of local fairs have judging contests that you definitely should enter as 4-Hers. It's a great way to get started if you're interested in judging. Typically at your state fair, the person who's going to rank your classes may be a visiting extension agent who has a background in livestock, or it may be somebody who came to judge your sheep show who then ranks your class for your livestock judging. And then at the state level, it's typically the state livestock judging team that will rank the classes for the state judging contest.
Okay, so that makes the point that when you defend those, even if you're different than what they had picked, you can still gain some points because it's all subjective.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And it's really interesting, that whole aspect of the oral reasons, because it helps you build public speaking skills because you're coached how to make good eye contact, how to project your voice, and what else?
Definitely memorization as well. You spend a little bit of time practicing before you give your reasons, kind of memorizing them. It helps with taking notes and remembering, learning a functional way for yourself to take notes so you remember things versus like just writing down notes that you might have. So it helps with the memorization portion as well. And that is something that's helpful when you go into that room and you're staring at somebody you've never met before and explaining to them why you placed this class of heifers the way that you did.
Sure. And I remember early on in my collegiate career, I was on a judging team and meats and livestock, but I was a reasons taker as well. And I had a sweet little girl came in to give reasons, and all she said was, well, I really like this class, and this one was prettier, and this one had better legs. And that's fine. If that's where you're starting out, that's perfect. And she went on and achieved a lot in that. Mm-hmm. Have you had those moments?
Oh, yes. I certainly had those moments, probably long past when I was a little girl. But, it gets better with time, and it's something that you don't realize impacts as much as it does when you become an adult and you're having those conversations with your boss or with your coworkers. I'm in management, so when I'm having feedback conversations with associates, those skills come in handy as an adult because you're able to think on the fly and you're able to just remember, specific aspects of things and how to bring those up confidently in conversation.
Yay. So besides that, building your self-esteem, every time you're in front of a coach, even just in practice or your county agent, teammates, your judging increases your self of being valued and listened to by somebody else. And I always thought it was really important to have members say their reasons aloud in front of their teammates, and they would even gently critique them or applaud their decisions.
Yes, I think the team aspect of it is really important. It can really lead to some great collaboration and understanding of each other when you're doing, project judging together at maybe practice before you go to state or nationals. So it's great to really spend time with your team. They have some insight that you might not have on specific areas, and they bring other things to the table, different ways that maybe you can talk about a class or, a different industry standard that maybe you weren't aware of before.
True, because they change really often, don't they?
They sure do, yeah.
I believe your state judging and all your contest experience encompassed everything except dog skillathon,
Yes,
you little
that is
overachiever. So that would have been horse, hippology, horse bowl, livestock quiz bowl, skillathon, sweepstakes, photography, consumer health and family science, poultry, and horticulture.
That about sums it up.
And you went to national, correct?
Yes, I did go to nationals for livestock skillathon.
Okay. And that was a good experience?
I had a great time. It was in Louisville, Kentucky, and it was at, I can't remember the name of
NAIL.
There we go, yes.
North American International Livestock
Yes.
Exposition. It's a mouthful.
Yes, and that was a great experience. It was really cool to just be in a setting where there were so many different people from different backgrounds to meet and learn from. I know that, I went when I was a kid because my older brother went as well. And I just remember, my mom seeing people from college that she knew. And it was pretty cool to just see that those connections you can build through agriculture and through 4-H and be able to look back on that memory and just be amazed that I was able to do that at such a young age.
And I will say those national shows are really good because you see all kinds of animals we may not see in this part of the country. You see different breeds, the huge vendor shows. I know you all were kind of wide-eyed with all that was available and all the different equipment and tack and clothing and shoes and jewelry. It was kind of a fun deal. Mm-hmm. And when we went, we were Kansas, what's 2012 Livestock Skillathon. They allowed intermediate and senior to both judge, and your younger sister was on that team but wasn't eligible to go to nationals. So you went already with a handicap with a team of 3. They do take the top 3 scores, but we didn't have a score to drop. But it was still really worth the trip going. I think now, since you've been out, they've changed that, and it's a all-stars selection, which makes it a little tougher because you may have kids from all over the state you're trying to pull together. And it takes a lot of responsibility to meet those practices. Can you talk about that prep work and how the team really has to work together and be at things?
Especially for things like Livestock Skillathon, where your scores are calibrated together. It's really important that you practice as a team. You make it to those practices before you go to nationals, and you guys really work together, because if we'd had a 4th member, it would have been, the person who probably practiced the least would have been that number that dropped off at the bottom. So you really want to work together. You want to help your teammates so you can all be successful. And that's another skill that you should definitely learn to bring into adulthood. No matter what you do, you're going to be part of a team, and your teammates are going to rely on you.
And you need to show up.
That's right. Showing up is 90% of the work, guys.
Good point. Fabulous point. And another thing to mention, it's a safe setting where fairness and friendliness really prevail. You're in a good situation. You have teammates helping each other. You have coaches helping other coaches. And some of them, like horticulture, a lot of the coaches or parents will actually score some of those papers while the contest is going on.
Yeah, I actually did some of that.
Yeah.
When I came back from a summer job and my sister was still judging in horticulture, I went up and helped out at K-State for her state competition.
So that also brings in the volunteerism aspect.
That's right.
So you had lots of interest in this, obviously. What would you give as your top 3 reasons?
One of the top 3 reasons I have for doing, county, state, and national level judging is really those skills that I've talked about, learning that teamwork aspect, learning to give my reasoning behind choices that I'm making. And the number one thing, honestly, from judging, from being in 4-H for as long as I was, is just the relationships that you build with yourself, but also with adults around you, with your fellow 4-Hers, and it really sets you up for a successful life.
Great. That sounds really good. And the show notes will carry more information as far as what Kansas State Office offers for judging contests. So in conclusion, I'd like to say that public speaking, decision-making, critical thinking, problem-solving, these are all valuable life skills that we've touched on that you can gain through some of these activities. And it's important to add that members have fun and make those lasting friendships, mentors, and a personal network of their own. I'd encourage 4-Hers to try judging practice in a club setting or at the county fair and see where it takes you. And Claire, do you have anything else to add today?
I don't. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Where are you headed after this?
I am going up to Manhattan to see one of my longtime 4-H friends, Katie, who I met at Discovery Days. I think we were just talking about this the other day. I think she's my oldest friend. So you can, I already said it, you can really build some pretty amazing lifelong relationships through 4-H.
Because she's from out where? Clay Center originally?
Yeah, she's from Manhattan. She went to K-State. She still works at K-State, big 4-H'er. She was on state council. So, it's awesome to just see where 4-H can really take people as they reach adulthood.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening today. Be sure to check out the show notes for resources about 4-H contests. And please join us next time on 4-H Beyond Ready when we explore the 4-H experience.
Thank you for listening to K-State Extension Douglas County's podcast. We hope you tune in again for not only more research-based information and resources you can trust, but also good conversation. Until next time.